Welcome to Wrestling with Heart, a podcast looking at pro wrestlers giving back to their community. Join me, Stanley Carr, as I interview wrestling's hottest names who use their platforms as entertainers to raise awareness and do community service. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Wrestling with Heart. This is the show where we speak with professional wrestlers and professional wrestling personalities about their careers in and out of the ring. And I tell you, this week you are in for a treat. With me today is one half of one of the most iconic tag teams in the history of professional wrestling. I'm talking about a former WCW Tag Team Champion, World Television Champion, GWF Tag Team Champion, North American Heavyweight Champion, and not to mention a WWE Hall of Famer class of 2019 as part of Harlem Heat. Yes, with me today is the one and only Stevie Ray. Welcome to Wrestling with Heart.
What's going on, brother?
Yeah.
Glad to be here. Hope you're doing all right.
Hope you are too. Thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, I'm just getting a text message from my buddy, Buddy Lee Parker.
Okay.
He just hit me up.
Nice.
I have to hit him back in a little bit. But yeah,
nice.
Man, everything's good.
So yeah, you've been interviewed on so many different podcasts and you've talked about your life story and things like that. But just to give everyone listening a little bit of an idea of your early life and whatnot, you were born in New York City, right?
Actually, I'm from Houston, Texas.
Okay.
I got kinfolks in New York, but I came up in Houston, Texas, man, and southeast side of town. A very normal upbringing, played a lot of sports, did a lot of mischievous things, man. Went to Jesse H. Jones High School, where I played football, basketball, and track and field. Yeah, that's pretty much my upbringing with a lot of different people that you probably heard of that I played against in high school and came from certain neighborhoods that I didn't know in those days other than playing against them, but know them now. So, it's kind of cool. So many people that came out of our little area of Houston, Texas that made it in basketball, that made it in football, that made it in track and field. I mean, so many people, man, music, so on and so forth. So that's the part of town where me and my brother came up at, and we still say it to this day that we're from South Park instead of Houston. We always say we're from South Park, so people know what part of town that is. So
a lot of people came from there. Yeah. I mean,
yeah. Oh my God. Michael Singletary, played against him, and Dexter Manley, Darryl Green and I went to school together, ran on the same track team. Clyde Drexler. Oh man, the list goes on and on, man. The list goes on and on.
So
yes. Jalen Hurst now.
Yeah.
CD Lamb. All those guys are from this same area, man. So many of them. Yeah.
Up and down the road, you just a who's who of who all grew up in that area.
Man, for the last 30, 40 years, so many people that came out of this area that, advanced in, Beyonce.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? Beyonce. So, it's a long list of people who her dad and myself are very good friends.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
She just won like a whole nother set of Grammy Awards.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
That's what I'm saying. The Houston's, oh my God, so many people that came out of this area, so many different genres of music, and like I said, sports and politics and everything else, man. And I'm proud to be from here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. How did you get, your brother, Booker, is your youngest brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did you two get interested in professional wrestling? Was it something you watched growing up?
I think everybody watches wrestling growing up, man. I think at least everybody in Texas does. I don't know about anywhere else, but we were always fans of professional wrestling. We never thought about being professional wrestlers or anything like that. That was a whole nother process. We just, tried it, Ivan Putski was opening up a wrestling school, and we was like, hey, we'll try that. We'll try anything once. And we went to his wrestling school, and Scott Casey was the trainer there. And we really got into it, man. It was something new, something different. And we really had a blast just training and stuff like that, going to training every day and this, that, and the other. And one thing just led to another, man. And next thing you know,
you became
you know,
superstars.
I mean, we never thought about everything that happened to us. We never thought about it, man. We just been in the right place at the right time.
Sure.
And like I said, people always ask me. Matter of fact, I was just talking about this today with guy that does a lot of my social media stuff for me, and a lot of my bookings and stuff like that. And I was telling him that Eddie Gilbert actually put us together to be a tag team.
Really?
God rest his soul, Eddie Gilbert. We never had any inclination of wanting to be a tag team. My brother was wrestling, I was wrestling, but we wasn't wrestling together. He would be booked on different shows that I wasn't booked on, and I was booked on shows that he wasn't booked on.
So it was like around
working indies around Texas and stuff like that. You know, we just wrestling, you know what I'm saying, and hanging out. People put on wrestling shows here and there, and we would show up, but we never were partners. He was like a babyface. I was a heel back in those days. So like I say, some shows he might be on as a babyface and I'm not on them. And some shows I might get booked as a heel and he not on. So we never had it. We were just wrestling.
Yeah. It just was kind of in the blood.
Yeah, no, we were just wrestling because that's what we trained to do. We just enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I went down to do an interview with Eddie Gilbert, and he was the booker down in Global. And I told my brother, you know, maybe you ought to come go with me, because frankly, I didn't feel like driving down to Dallas by myself and then coming back by myself. So I told my brother to come go with me. So my brother went with me, and he went in the office when we went to do my interview with Eddie Gilbert, and he walked in with me. And Eddie looked at him like, who is that? In essence, about to tell him, hey, man, get out of here. This is a private meeting, you know? And I said, oh, no, that's my brother, man. He said, your brother? I said, yeah, my brother. He go, does he work? I go, yeah. He said, how long have you been working? I said, oh, no, we started together. And then he sit back and said, nobody told me you had a brother, because the guys up there had told him who I was. Some of the guys that were working up there already, and I was in some of the independent magazines. I was calling myself Super Collider then, and I was a heel. And then Eddie Gilbert was like, can you guys come back next week? I want to have a meeting with both of you. So we came back next week, and I guess he had put it through his head. And he was like, man, I'm looking for a babyface tag team. I don't know if he assumed that we were, I don't know how, because we got no pictures together. A lot of pictures of me in the independent magazines by myself as Super Collider. And but maybe he just got an inkling in his mind. I really don't know. And he was like, man, I'm looking for a babyface tag team, man. I want people that they dress. I want them dressing right, and I want them speaking good and blah, 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 and be a babyface team that people can really look up to and young kids can look up to. You guys think y'all can do that? And we was like, yeah, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we can do that.
It just happened like that.
Like
out of nowhere.
This is Eddie Gilbert.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is Eddie Gilbert. And because I was coming down for a tryout as a heel Super Collider. You know what I'm saying? So, and he was like, okay, man. He said, oh, yeah, anyway, have you guys ever tagged together? And we were like, yeah, we've tagged together many times. We were lying. We'd never tagged together. Wow. We had never tagged together ever in our lives. And
was this when you guys were the Ebony Experience?
Yeah,
for GWF.
He came up with that too.
Oh wow!
Like I say, we owe so much to Eddie Gilbert. That whole thing was his idea. Me and my brother being a tag team. We had never thought about ever being a tag team, ever.
I got to bring this up because I remember watching the Hall of Fame speech when you inducted your brother, and you told this story, and I hope I get this right, but growing up, you hung out with your friends a lot, and your brother always wanted to see what was going on. Right. And he used to kind of sneak into.
Yeah, he's always trying to hang around, you know what I'm saying? But that's book, you know what I'm saying? That's book. So, yeah. So, but we never thought we'd be a tag team together. We never thought we'd be in the wrestling business. That's just something that came out of the blue, and man, it all worked out. Years later, we went out to we come back. Actually, we come back to show Eddie the next week that we have been working on some things and try to get out here and make him proud.
Yeah.
But when we got back, Eddie had let him go. He's not even working there no more. He'd been fired.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's what happened. We like, oh wow,
That's crazy.
Well, that's the wrestling business. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what was going on. We ain't even been. We're not in global. We just some guys that's passing through and got an interview. You know what I'm saying? We just in the way more than anything. So they told us, well, we know Eddie promised you a tryout match, and we're gonna obligate that, but that don't mean you're hired or nothing like that. So we was like, okay, we'll do the tryout match and this, that, and the other. And we knew what was up. That's how it goes in the business. Whatever Eddie liked, whoever the next guy is doesn't like. Just like any other job, you know what I'm saying? Whoever was supervisors under this guy, now you're going to be demoted to whatever, and he's going to bring his own guys up. And it's no different than nothing else, whether it be a corporation or football team, whatever, you know what I'm saying? That's just the way it goes. So we kind of knew that, and we knew. Then they put us against a couple of guys to go out there and work, and we'd seen these guys on Global working before, so we knew they wasn't too up on what they were doing, and was like, oh, okay, we'll see what's up here. They're gonna kill two birds with one stone. They're gonna put the new guys that hasn't had a match, and the guys that been looking like crap every week, and they getting ready because it was their last night. So in essence, it was their last night and our last night on the same night. yeah.
Wow.
It'll be everybody land to get rid of all of them at the same time. So me and my brother concocted a plan and said, hey, brother, we've seen these guys on television. Let's go out here like Scott Casey always trained us to do. Let's go out here and make these guys look better than they ever looked before in their lives. And my brother was like, yeah, let's do that. So that's what we did. We went out, and, the people, we went out as babyface, and the people healed on us. I'm like, okay, this how it is up here in Dallas. Here come the heels, and they rooting for them, and they heels every week, and they rooting for them. I'm like, okay. So we do the match and everything, and boy, we start making those guys look better than they ever looked in their lives.
Oh,
people start rooting for us. Now they're rooting for us. So psychology.
The tides kind of turned a little bit.
Right. Yeah, just like the Rocky movie.
Yeah.
And with Drago.
Yep.
And my brother's out here telling these guys every single solitary move to do because they were lost. Nobody ever worked. They were lost. And my brother is out there just making them look like, because, they're getting the heat on him. We're the babyfaces that he is.
Yep.
They're getting the heat on him, and he's making them look like $1 million. And he's overselling every single solitary spot that they do. And not only that, he's telling them every spot to do. Give me a double backdrop. Give me a double clothesline. Give me this. Throw me over the top. Choke me. You know what I'm saying? Choke me some more. He tell the other guy, go over there and make my brother act like he coming in. He telling them everything to do because he's been baby facing for 3 years. So he pretty much knows everything about baby facing. And go over there and get in the referee's face, distract the referee. He's telling them every single song. I wish this tag match was videotaped. It wasn't. It was a dark match.
Okay.
And the fans are going crazy, and they want him to get over and make the tag to me, you know what I'm saying? And finally he does something to make the tag to me, and I jump over the top rope, and I start kicking butt left and right, and boom, boom, boom. I don't even know how the match finished. I don't even know. I can't remember. But we end up going over on them. The people go crazy. The few people that they had in there. They have but a few people in here.
Yes.
And y'all wanna begrudge Stevie and Booker. We didn't even have names at that time. You know what I'm saying? Really? We didn't even have names. I don't even know if we were calling ourselves maybe we were. Maybe we were the Evan Experience or something to that effect. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But
from what I remember seeing,
like I said, this was before anything this was a dark match. It wasn't even on television.
Yeah.
But I think Eddie had mentioned, but like I said, by it being dark, it wasn't taped. So whatever transpired wasn't locked in stone yet. I don't even know if we had even named ourselves or anything like that. We didn't get a chance to because Eddie got fired. So we never got a chance to really go over how he wanted everything done. We never got a chance. We just remember what he said the last time we met him, which was the week before. So anyway, we finished the match. We go in the back, you know what I'm saying, like that. And the two guys we were working with, you know, came up and was like, hey, man, appreciate it, blah, blah, blah. Good match. And the guys in the back was coming up to us saying, good match. And these guys hadn't even really spoke to us in 2 weeks. Other than stuff like, hey, man, my name is so-and-so. Who you working with tonight? Oh, we're working with those two guys over there. And you get one of these. You know,
like one of those like little smirks. Yeah.
You know, like, oh, good luck. Like, you know, like these guys are so terrible. Yeah. You know, and that happened 2 or 3 times. And then I asked my brother, hey, man, you getting the same idea? And he's like, yep. I said, okay, the fix is in then. So we know what's up. But anyway, after the match, the same guy that was giving us the Iggy like that will come over and say, hey, man, that was a good match. That was a good match, and blah, blah, blah. And then the two guys we worked with, they came back over and said, hey, man, we want to let y'all know something, brother. As long as we've been here, nobody has ever worked with us like y'all did. And we appreciate that, man. We just want to let y'all know that. And then one of them turned around. My brother remember the names. I can't, the name of their team. I can't. The one turned around, he's go, hey, man, y'all gonna make it. He said, I just want to tell you that. I've never seen this guy again. He walks off. And that's the last thing he said. He said, y'all gonna make it, man. And the rest is history.
It is. I mean,
that was the first tag match me and my brother ever had. And the guy we were working with looked at us and go, hey, man, y'all gonna make it. I'll never forget that. But we didn't know it was gonna turn into what it turned into, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was the beginning.
Yeah, definitely was the beginning. The crowds were electric because I was watching some of your old matches.
Well, you got to realize something. Wasn't nobody in there that night.
Right.
Okay. Now we getting the Iggy from the people. They got everybody sitting on one side to make it look like there's a lot of people in the sportatorium. Really wasn't. And the booker comes up to us and goes, well, I'm not promising you a job or anything, but is there any way you guys can come back next week? Wait a minute. I thought we were just doing our one match and we're going to get out of your hair. We not wanted around here, especially after every epithet that people done called us when we walked out. I don't even want to be here. But we was like, yeah, we can come back next week. Okay, 2 months later, maybe 6 weeks later, maybe a month later, the crowd is full. And people got signs who they coming to see. The very guys that you didn't want here in the first place. That's how it went.
Wow. Yeah. You guys were building up a fan base, it looks like, you know, because we're putting in the work.
We was the hottest things in Global. We put Global back on the map. Then they start making money. Okay? Because of the Ebony experience. So you had people, we became the hottest thing on ESPN as far as wrestling goes. And I'm proud of that, man.
And
it all started that one night when nobody was in here. Then in a few weeks, a month later, month and a half, you got standing room only.
It's the hottest ticket in town, man.
It was the hottest ticket in town, and I loved it, man. We had so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
So how long were you at GWF before WCW called?
I don't know, close to a year and a half, close to 2 years, year and a half, something like that.
Okay.
I can't even remember that. From 90, I can't even remember. I can't even remember the dates. But I know we was at either late 91, early 92 to 93, something like that.
Okay.
I can't remember.
So you eventually signed with WCW. What was going through your mind when you were leaving Global?
Hey, it was time to go. We really couldn't do nothing else. We had did everything we could possibly do in a small territory like that. And we knew the big time was watching us because we was on television every day. We was on ESPN every day. We would tape 3 shows a night. Every Saturday night, we taped 3 shows. So we was taping, you know, uh, mm, 3 every weekend. So that's about 10 to 12 shows
Wow.
a month. And they
Oof.
splice it all up and put it on television, an hour show every day on ESPN.
That's unbelievable.
So we
A lot of
huh?
big names came from Texas.
Yeah. A
You
lot of big
know,
names came from Global.
yeah,
Yeah,
especially yes,
a lot of big names came from Global. And like I said, by it being on television, they had the ESPN contract. So people got to see those matches at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right when you're getting out of school.
sure,
So we had really gotten popular with a lot of young kids because they getting out of school and they can put it on ESPN and watch pro wrestling.
sure.
So it kind of worked out for us. So we know WWE and WCW were looking at us. It was just a matter of time. We just knew it was a matter of time that one of them would be knocking on our door, and they did.
And so you guys became Harlem Heat.
Right.
What was kind of like the reason why you changed your name to Harlem Heat?
Well, first of all, I was some logistics going on, and they wanted us to be heels, and there's some logistics going on with the Ebony Experience thing because of the global stuff. So we didn't care what we were called. We just wanted to be wrestling, and it all worked out. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I mean, we were still baby faces. I think the Ebony Experience thing would have worked, but we were heels. So the Harlem Heat thing worked then also. But the thing was, the Booker T and Stevie Ray, they wanted to call us Kane and Cole, and we kind of went with that for a minute because that was under logistics also. But once that cleared up, we could have took the Ebony Experience name back, but we didn't
Really?
want to. Yeah, we didn't want to. We liked the Harlem Heat gimmick better.
Yeah, and it
It kind of
worked
fit
out.
us better. Yeah,
Yes. You had
yeah,
matching ring gear,
yeah, yeah. But we got
iconic theme music.
right. We got the names back, Booker T and Stevie Ray. We went back with a regular name, but we didn't go back with the Ebony Experience.
And you were saying earlier you were a heel on the indies before you became a babyface team.
Right.
Did you
Exactly.
feel like it easier for you to be a heel now going into this new company WCW, or
No, not really. It was familiar territory, but I've been both.
really?
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just it's like going from a NASCAR to an Indy car. You know what I'm saying? One got characteristics this way, the other got characteristics this way, but it's still a car.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And once the adaptability comes in, you just go with it, you know?
Sure.
So that's pretty much about
Yeah.
it.
All right. So you had, went to WCW, and that had to have been an amazing feeling winning those tag belts for the first time there.
I don't even remember, man. I know we won them, but I don't. Yeah, it was. But I can remember when we won the belts in Global. All the stuff in WCW, it happened so many times. I don't even. Damn, I don't even. Who did we beat? Would we beat the Nasty Boys? I think we beat the Nasty Boys. I can't remember the match though. I can't remember the match. But Global, I can remember because that was really exciting when we won the belts in Global. We won the belts in WCW. I think it was exciting, but I can't. I
You guys
can't
won it.
remember.
You guys won it like multiple times. Like,
I'm talking about the first time
yeah.
when you said when we won the belts.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I don't remember the match
Hmm.
because we worked so much back in those days. You know what I'm saying? We worked so much, and I guess that's why we were. I can remember the global stuff because we did so much television taping, once a week. But the WCW, man, I think it was against the Nasty Boy, but man, I can't even remember. I really can't remember any of them.
You got paired with Sherry Martel in the group. How was it like? What was it like working with her?
Oh, it was great. Actually, we didn't want to work with anybody. They wanted to put us with different people, and we was like, nah, we don't want to. We want to be a self-contained unit, And then we saw Sherry at a TV taping one night, and we were just talking, shooting the crap. And she was like, I heard you guys are looking for a manager. Yeah. I said, yeah, the office looking for a manager. We ain't looking for no manager. you know. And she was like, well, what if I was your manager? And we were like, you kidding? And she was like, no, I'm not. And I was like, really? We, my brother, was like, really? And she was like, yeah, I could be your manager and this, that, and the other. It's like, okay. So we took that to the office and they agreed with it. And that's when the whole thing with us and Sherry uh, got going. So it was just one of them things that came out of nowhere.
It really added to the presentation a
Yeah.
lot. It really did.
Especially the way they brought her in, because they was like, every time we would do a match, we would get on cell phone and talk like, oh yeah, it didn't take long. We get on the cell phone, yeah, and then we get in the camera and go, hey baby, that was the secret. And everybody was like, who are they talking about? The secret, this, that, and the other. So we was in the pay-per-view match, I think against the Nasty Boys, and Sherry came out dressed like her, and they was like, that must be the secret on the phone, blah, blah, blah. And she did something and we ended up winning the titles. It's coming back to me now. Yeah, that's how it happened. Yeah. So we didn't just come out with it. We were already Harlem Heat, starting static.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then one night, Sherry comes out, and then we were like all hugged up and stuff like that. And after we won the titles and stuff, and then the rest is history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are like your favorite opponents to work with?
Oh, I like working with everybody. Everybody. Steiners, Nasties, Bagwell and Patriot, Bagwell and Tuco, Rough and Ready. Oh man, we love working with everybody, man. We had good matches with and we went on the road with so many different people. So it didn't matter to me.
It was just a night out almost.
Yeah, it didn't matter to me, man. I'm just like ready to go out here and entertain the people.
Yep. That's what you have to do, put on a show, got to get the crowd pumped up, even if they don't like you.
Every team is different. Every team we work with is different.
Really?
But that's why you do it. You know what I'm saying? Every team got different characteristics. And that's what made it so interesting. Yeah. It keeps the interest in doing what you're doing.
Was there one particular team that was tough on you, like really hard on you? Like,
No. We pretty much dictated the matches.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? We pretty much dictated what we did, Nah. I think not that I can remember anyway. Everybody had their own thing that they like to do. So we just adapt to what they like to do and make it look good,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So eventually you guys split up, went your separate ways, Booker went solo, you went solo. How did you feel at that point, being a single star again?
It's just, in the wrestling business, it's work. It's just work. We was doing that temporarily, and then we came back together after that, you know what I'm saying? And then I started doing commentary after that, so on and so forth. So it's just a part of the game. And that's the thing about the game, you just accept the game and keep moving. You know what I'm saying? You just accept the game and keep moving. But at that time we had cachet to do other things, and that's what we wanted to do. Because the tag team thing, so many people were becoming singles thing now, and Bischoff and them wasn't pushing the tag teams no more. So we didn't want to be out here doing tag team stuff with that. They don't even have tag teams to go around anymore.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? So
yeah. Eventually, WCW closed and got bought out by the WWE in 2001. Now, you weren't picked up by the company when it got sold. How did you feel when WCW got bought out, and what was going through your mind at that point?
I pretty much knew it was going to go down. Not like it happened, but I pretty much knew it was going to go down. They didn't pick me up because I didn't want to get picked up.
Really?
No. I didn't want to get picked up. I didn't want to go to WWE and have to work another 300 days a year. I was done with that.
There's a lot of, in the last 10 or so years, there's been a lot more African-American talent in professional wrestling that I feel are now getting to show what they can do. And I'm talking about WWE and AEW and Impact. How do you feel about the representation of Black talent in wrestling today?
No, I've always felt good about talent in professional wrestling. It's not the talent. I've never said anything but the talent. You wouldn't be in the big time professional wrestling if you wasn't talented. It's your representation. I mean, you don't get to big time wrestling by sitting at the bus stop, hoping and praying. You got to put the wrench time in and go out there and show people what you do. I've never had a problem with African American talent. African American talent just as good as any talent on this earth, given the opportunity to do so. But that's not I don't have anything to say about that. I think that's always been there. My thing is representation of how they've been represented as African American talent. It's just like Kofi Kingston winning the heavyweight title. He was never pushed as a heavyweight titleist. And I love Kofi. He's a good friend of mine. But why put the title on him if you're not going to push him like the guy?
Sure. That's a valid point, yes.
Or Bobby Lashley. If you're not going to push him like the guy, you don't push him like a Roman Reigns. Just put the title on him. I don't know if it's just something to do or what. But that's what I'm saying. Those kind of, and like I said, a lot of people don't really understand this because they really, they look at things in a trivial way, and this has always been the norm. So once something is the norm, that is the way you look at it as a individual that's buying tickets to see this. This is how it's always been done, so it's not out of the ordinary to me, unless someone like myself brings it up to you.
Sure.
But most people don't know how to talk about these things without putting it in the wrong context. But I know how to put it in context because that's what I do. And anybody that wants to debate me on that, we can do it.
Do you feel optimistic about the future of how Black talent are utilized
Black talent
today?
in professional wrestling will always be used the way it always has been used. That is the one thing that me and my brother went out of our way and said, you will not categorize us as the way you see African Americans in professional wrestling. That is the one thing you never seen with us. And that was done on purpose.
And the great thing about it is you guys backed up your skills in the ring and talents in the ring, and you became legends. I mean, goodness gracious, you both got inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2019. That had to be an amazing moment for not just for you, but your brother as well. Yeah.
No, have an amazing moment, and that's what we want. We want, our contemporaries. We also want the people that look up to us to say, hey, they made it, we can make it. You know what I'm saying? That, they represented us the way we wanted to be represented. And the way I say that is the reason I say that is because of so many people that has told me that. People like Reggie White. Okay. People like Muhammad Ali. People like James Brown. Anybody know who these people are?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That watching us and we didn't even know it. That's come up and say, man, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you guys, man. You really make me feel proud when I see you guys out there doing that. And I'm quite sure they've seen a lot of African Americans out there doing it, but not the way we did it. Because we represented what we are, not what somebody sees you as. Big difference.
Now, you've helped out with a lot of charity organizations, have been working with various groups, and have volunteered a lot in your community. Tell me about some of the work you've done outside of wrestling.
Well, that's what I do. I do a lot of public speaking now. And I work with, especially with a lot of schools and stuff around, high schools and stuff like that, and junior highs and things like that. I also work with Houston Community College. And I also work with Scott's Community Care, a good friend of mine. And that's what I do now. That is what I do. That's what it takes up a lot of my time. I'm also putting together a big project with one of the high schools here in Houston. And I'll know more about that here shortly. That is something I've been working on for almost 5 years now, that I'm getting a chance to put together something pretty big.
Ooh.
So that's something I'm really excited about right now, because it's something, like I said, I started it, I wrote it back in 2019. And it's wrestling related, but it's also educational at the same time. Educational and uplifting all at the same time. So hopefully that'll be starting here in the near future, because I'm really excited about it. You know, it's just taking some time to get a lot of the red tape out of the way.
Right, right.
You know, I was
Right.
hoping everything would come through in January. Well, here we are in February right now. We're still waiting on one last hurdle to jump. And once we get that one last hurdle out of the way, it's going to be on and popping.
I love it.
Yeah, it's
I'm
going to be
I'm
on and popping.
I'm excited for you. I think that's going to be a really good project.
Oh, it will be. Once I get to oh, it will be. It's going to be.
Yeah.
If I will die trying. I will die trying.
Yes.
Yeah,
Why do you feel it's important to give back to your community?
because your community gave so much to you. It's your obligation. It's just like taking care of your parents when they get older. That's your obligation. They brought you into this world.
Mm-hmm.
And when you've been put in a position to uplift young people, especially if you got the wisdom to uplift young people. And that is why the project I'm working on is not so much as me giving back, because I give back all the time. It's me uplifting people and making them see a whole different light of how things and how life actually works. So giving back is one thing, uplifting people is another, because they're the future. Young people are the future. And I feel as though I got so much to give back to young people, not from what I did, from what I know.
I love it. You just seem very passionate about doing it, and you've seen a lot of stuff, and you've been around so many people that have come to you and have been inspired by you. It's like you were saying, that tag team with you and your brother, it brought so many people together,
Yeah,
so many people together. Like, there's nothing like really, paying it forward to the next generation.
that's true. And that's why, young wrestlers have always come to me and asked for advice and this, that, and the other. Hey, brother, I'm gonna tell you what I know, the way I know it. I'm gonna give you real advice. It might be harsh, it might be hard, but it's real. And I remember what's his name? Seamus. He said I met him in Ireland years ago, and I don't even remember this.
Wow.
He said we was in the elevator one day. He said, I want to tell you something, man. I met you in Ireland back in the early 2000s. I was, really? That's when I was going back and forth overseas, because
Yeah, yeah.
when I left WCW, I just started going back and forth overseas with different
Sure.
companies.
Hmm.
And I remember going to Ireland, but I don't remember meeting him. And yeah, I swear to you, and he was like, I was like, really? I said, I said, I hope I wasn't an asshole to you or nothing like that. He goes, no, man. He said, I should really appreciate you talking to me, man. I really, okay, yeah. I'll say so. I never knew this. And if he hadn't been in a private area, he might have never told me. And then what's his name? The big guy, WWF, WWE rather. What's his name?
Was it Big Show?
No, they call him the big guy.
Oh, Ryback?
Right back. Yeah. I don't know
Ryback.
why I can't think of these guys' names when I'm I do that. I think something wrong with my brain, man. When I'm trying to think of people's names, if I wasn't thinking about them, I know exactly what his name is. When I think about people, I don't know anybody's name.
Yeah, yeah.
Barely know my own. But somebody says sometimes, what's my name? Oh, yeah, that's me. Somebody will come up to me and go, hey, Stevie Ray. Who? Oh, yeah, that's me. So
Stevie Ray.
I guess it's not, I guess it's something I guess I've been hit on the head with too many chairs. But Ryback was telling me one day, he said, man, I met you in Vegas at World's Gym or Gold's Gym or something like that. I used to go to the same gym all the time. I still do whenever I go to Vegas. I go to the same gym, been there for years. And he was like, I was working there. And I asked you about professional wrestling. And man, you sit there and talk to me for about 30 minutes. I do not remember this. This is before he got into business, this, that, and the other. And he's like, man, I just want to let you know I really appreciate you talking to me and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, thank you. But I don't remember it. But if he was somebody inquisitive about wrestling, he thinking about getting into it, okay. I don't remember the conversation or nothing like that. And that same thing I told him was, man, I hope I wasn't an asshole to you or nothing like that. And he's like, no, you're really cool, man. And I was like, okay. So I was like, okay, because I don't want nobody to tell me, man, you were really mean to me. That really hurt my feelings. I hope I wasn't but I'm just if you want some information, you ask me something, especially if you approach me the right way, I ain't got nothing but time, brother. If I'm out in Vegas working out, I'm probably out here on vacation anyway. I'm you. I would go to Vegas for fights, like boxing matches.
Yeah.
My buddies are out in drag. My buddies are drag racers, NHRA drag racers.
Yeah.
And a few times I went out there to meet them while they're drag racing. Then we hang out, stuff like that. So it must have been one of those weekends. I knew it couldn't have been a weekend where, well, then it could have been where we were in town wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But the year he said it had to be after that because it wasn't in the 90s. It was in the 2000s.
Okay.
So it had to be after the WCW days. But yeah, I used to do that a lot. Matter of fact, I'm be out there in April. I'll be out in Vegas in April, hanging out. So yeah, but those two guys that made it in the business, and they were like, hey man, I appreciate you talking to me. And I was like, well, I don't remember, but I'm glad, I'm glad we did talk the way we did,
Well, you seem like a very humble guy, an approachable guy, and always are willing to help other people, whether it's through wrestling or through other ventures. Hey, listen, before we close things up here, you've got a podcast too, right?
Yeah, actually, I'm in my dungeon right now. This is all my stuff behind me. Matter of fact, I just got through podcasting a few hours ago. Me and Vince Russo doing our Black and White podcast.
Okay.
That we tape on Thursdays. And I think we finished today right at 4:45, right at 5, and then got ready for you a couple hours after that. So that's what we're doing. Straight Shootin with Stevie Ray right behind me.
Very cool. How long have you been doing the podcast for?
Oh, almost 3 years.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Then I had podcasts before that. I had another podcast before that. Then I did radio. I did KCOH Sports Radio before that. So I've been doing this for a while. A lot of people don't realize this is actually what I went to school for.
Really?
Yeah.
Broadcasting?
Yeah.
Nice.
I was doing commentary on WCW. And people didn't know, man, that comes so easy for you. I'm like, I didn't realize I was trained in this a zillion years ago. Never thought I'd come back to it because I want to work in radio.
Really? So, okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So I'm glad to get back to something that I really used to like, and then you don't have a love for it anymore. But you don't realize it deep down in your gut, it's still there.
Sure.
Deep down in my gut, I guess it was still there. And because I used to do the commentary for the boys back when I wrestled in the dressing room, because back in those days we had monitors, but they had no sound. So I would do the commentary while we were watching the wrestling match in the dressing room for the boys as a gag.
Yeah.
And just make them laugh with different things. You know what I'm saying? I'm imitating different wrestling guys, you know what I'm saying, through the years, and I'm imitating them and stuff like that. And some kind of way it got to the producers and they wanted me to do it for real.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, brother, I'm a wrestler. I don't want to do that, And it's like, no, man, we want to get somebody out there that's that really know what they're talking about, and this, that, and the other. And we heard you was really good. And I'm like, who from who? I'm just messing around. And then once I got that started, it started to come back to me, how to change your vernacular, how to change, different things and get out there and be a little bit more astute and so on and so forth. Because I had to tell him I can't be Stevie Ray. I can be a little Stevie Ray, but I can't be a lot of Stevie Ray, because Stevie Ray talks totally different than the way I really talk.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to put a little of him in there, but he can't be the mean Stevie Ray that's doing wrestling talk,
Right. It's part of the character. You're in character when you're doing it. And I think it's just fascinating that both members of Harlem Heat have done commentary.
Right.
Have you heard your brother do commentary before?
Oh yeah, of course I have. Yeah.
What do you think he's now doing NXT?
I don't really watch NXT. I don't really watch a lot of professional wrestling, period. People always hit me up and ask me, did I watch this pay-per-view? And I'm like, no, I got other things to do with my time, man. And sit down and watch a 3-hour wrestling show.
Sure.
Wrestling is really not a part of my daily repertoire anymore.
Right.
I do watch a little, but if I watch some, I'll tape it and then go back and look at it later when I got time to watch. Sure. Then I can fast forward through the things that I don't want to see and fast forward through the matches that I'm really not interested in. And then I can fast forward through the commercials and stuff like that. So a 3-hour show might take 35, 40 minutes.
Do you feel that the business has changed in the last 20 or 30 years since you got into it?
Wrestling is no different than any other form of entertainment. It all changes. It all evolves. And for anybody that's what I go round and round with people about this on my own podcast. And then, I wish they bring this back. I wish they bring that back. Well, I wish they bring Aretha Franklin back, but she's deceased. It don't work like that.
All right.
Life goes on. Life goes on. People want Dizzy Gillespie back and that kind of music, that jazz music. It's not here anymore. It's gone. It is what it is. No disrespect to anybody. Matter of fact, me and a friend of mine was having this conversation the other night, and we were talking about Super Bowl halftime shows, and we were talking about the people that they have on that are Super Bowl worthy. And I was talking about how some people are not Super Bowl worthy, but if you come from if you've been looking at Super Bowls as long as I have, you know who's Super Bowl worthy and who's not, because Super Bowl now has turned into a show. A big, giant production that lasts 20 minutes that they've been preparing for I don't know how many months. There's a lot of people go out here and play music, but can you put on a show? Big difference. So you got a hit record, but can you put on a show? So like I said, a lot of people, I was talking about Coldplay, and I was talking about was it Coldplay? Yeah, Coldplay. And what is the guy's name with Adam Levine, his band?
Maroon 5.
Yeah.
Maroon 5.
Those are great bands. But they ain't Super Bowl material. They got a few hits. But see, somebody come on the Super Bowl, you're supposed to have a lot of hits and everybody's supposed to know you. So that's why I say when you seen a Paul McCartney, well, hell, the man got 50,000 hits and you're going to sing along with every one of them. Or Prince, or Michael Jackson, or Madonna. Those are people that give a show. Or the Rolling Stones, or the Who, or U2. You see what I'm saying? They've been around so long, I don't care if you're a younger guy, middle-aged, older, you know them, and you know the songs. Mm-hmm. That's the Super Bowl, because you ain't just singing to the audience, you singing to the world.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I like how you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I liked how you described it. It's a production. It's not even that long. It's like 12, 15 minutes, pretty much.
Right.
I mean, you're just watching it and then it's back to the game. So, the important, we can say the same thing about WrestleMania. It's a show. It's a show. It's the Super Bowl of professional wrestling.
Right.
I don't expect perfection. I just want to be entertained.
But the matches are no different than the matches that come on every Monday night. You just seeing them from a different production. And the Super Bowl is no different than the game that was on last Sunday. But it's a bigger production and everybody's watching.
It's all about the numbers.
So that theme has to go with the hashtag. I'm talking about the artists. Well, the artists from yesterday, they hold up. The artists from today, it's hard for them to hold up because they don't really have that kind of experience yet. Only a few of them. Whereas back in the day, everybody gave you a show. Now you need today's artist like a Beyonce or Bruno Mars. You know why? Because they tear the house down.
Oh, yeah.
Or Katy Perry.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They tear the house because they big production people.
Yes. Yes.
You know, so they made for the big stadium. Some people, it is what it is. But like I said, me and a buddy of mine was having that conversation the other day about, and all of that goes hand in hand with professional wrestling. So you can't have yesterday and then implement it today. You got to have today because every generation, the mindset changes. Why are you trying to satisfy the mindset from yesterday and you got the mindset of today to satisfy? That's how it rolls. So yeah, wrestling changes just like movies, just like music, just like any other kind of art. Changes, bro. Either you keep up or you get left behind. Choose one. That's the same thing they tell you in high school. That's the same thing they tell you in junior high, elementary, and high school, right?
Yep.
You either keep up or what? You get left behind.
Right.
What's so hard to understand about that?
Nothing is.
There it is.
Absolutely.
So that's when I get on podcasts and I talk about you still looking for the Stone Cold Steve Austins and the Rocks from 20 years ago, brother. You got them on YouTube. Because you ain't never going to see that. That was magic. You ain't going to never see that again.
Well put. Well put. Hey, Stevie Ray, I just want to say thank you very much for coming on to the podcast.
No problem,
it means a lot to me. And where can people find you on social media?
The Real Stevie Ray. The Real Stevie Ray on Stevie Ray Athlete on Facebook, but The Real Stevie Ray on Twitter and The Real Stevie Ray on Instagram. So they can find me there. And they can find my show, Straight Shooting with Stevie Ray, on all the podcast outlets. And you can find me live every Monday and Tuesday night on YouTube and Twitch, Stevie Ray TV. Stevie Ray TV, YouTube, and Twitch live every Monday and Tuesday.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming on. You're more than welcome to come back. And I'd appreciate it if you, once we get this video out, if you could share it on your social media pages. I'd love to have you back on, more guests. Your brother, of course, has an open invitation anytime. So if you want to share the video with him, feel free. Yeah, I just want to say thank you again. It means a lot.
No problem, brother.
All right.
My pleasure.
Take care.
You too.
This is Wrestling with Heart. I hope you found this podcast to be informative and entertaining. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and look out for the next edition.